Is this on? The Hangout is live, so we're on. Is that cool? Okay, now let's check this Periscope thingy, mabobber. So we're live on there. That's half the battle. Now we just need to get live onto Periscope, and then we'll be ready to go. Double tap to flip, and cool. All right, we are. I guess we're on all formats right now, streaming live. Cool. So the Blue Jays. This is the Toronto sports. I don't know, talk that I've started. I have a science channel that most people like to listen to, but I talk about sports a lot, so I just thought I'd separate them into Toronto sports and science. So this is the Toronto sports Blue Jays post game talk, and I'm gonna try and interact with you fans on Twitter and YouTube and every format that I can, and Periscope, obviously, right now. So they won 3-1 tonight, and it's mainly because Josh Donaldson is a god in some way. You know, he hit a home run to left center field in the bottom of the first inning. Deep home run, left center field. It was beautiful. There is nothing wrong with Josh Donaldson. He could you know what would solve the Greece debt problems and their economy? Josh Donaldson. You know what would be a good prime minister of Canada? Or I guess president of the US because he's American. Josh Donaldson. He's just the man. He's having an MVP season. He's hit 28 home runs now, and I think I've heard that 18 of them have been to give their team a lead or to tie up the game. So he's a clutch hitter. He's just had an unbelievable year, to be honest, and he is certainly the king of Toronto right now. What's kind of funny though is that even though he's hit all these home runs, he's having an MVP like season. He isn't getting, since Tulowitzki and Price came in, he's not really getting any recognition at all. And he's like the best player on the team still. He's just not getting, actually, no, David Price is pretty good. I don't know. It depends. They're just having such a good team right now. It's hard to say. But I like my Toronto hat here. Sorry, I don't know which one to talk to, my phone or the computer, because they're both streaming live right now, and I don't really know which one to go to. But yeah, I like this Blue Jays hat. Got it in LA. I'm not sure if you're supposed to keep the sticker on this. Are you supposed to keep the sticker on? I don't even know. I have no idea if you should keep the sticker on or not. I'm going to. For now, I might take it off. Actually, I look like a dude. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it on. But Josh Donaldson, yeah, he's honestly, he could do, and he could say like he hates babies right now. And I'm sure all the Jays fans would be like, okay, well, you know what, he's having a good season. You know, he's allowed to hate babies. You know, he's Josh Donaldson. He can do whatever he wants. But yeah, the Blue Jays win 6 of 7, I think, now. Since Tulowitzki came to the team, they've lost one game, which they should have won, against the Royals, too. And they've just had an unbelievable year, and this mic keeps cutting out. But they've just had an unbelievable year since Tulowitzki came, and Price had an amazing outing yesterday, followed by a great outing by Estrada today. By the way, okay, so Marco Estrada, you know, he wasn't even supposed to be on this. He was supposed to be a long reliever on this team, a guy who isn't really supposed to be a reliable starter for the team. He wasn't supposed to be, and he has an ERA of 3.4. 3.4, and he's played 10 to 15 games maybe now. He said he has an ERA of 3.4, much better than Hutchinson. Hutchinson's ERA is in the 5s still, right? He is the lowest ERA, I think, out of everyone in the American League right now. Yeah, Hutch isn't doing too great. Hopefully he can bounce back tomorrow or the next day, whenever his start is. But yeah, Blue Jays win 6 of 7. Donaldson should be the Prime Minister of Canada, even though he's not Canadian. So that homer by Josh Donaldson gave them a 1-0 lead. It was a solo bomb, left center field. It was no doubter for sure. No doubter for sure. That's a little bit rhetorical, yeah. So, and then, yeah, what else happened in this game? Well, Josh Donaldson's the best 2-hitter in the league, and he should be the 3-hitter on any team in the league. But, you know, because Bautista is the 3-hitter, Donaldson kind of has to be the 2. And then we have this leadoff hitter. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name is how do I pronounce it? Tulowitzki. And he is our leadoff hitter. On any other team in the league, he'd be a 2 through 5 hitter, but because we cannot, I don't know, Gibbons wants him to be the leadoff hitter so he gets more at bats, which makes sense. It totally makes sense. But, you know, I kind of like him being a 2, 3, or 4 hitter just because he has a higher chance of getting an RBI. But saying that, the Blue Jays 9 hitter is Ben Revere, who should get on base most of the time and load up the table for Troy Tulowitzki. But Ben Revere has gone 0 for 15 and has kind of had an opposite start to that of Troy Tulowitzki amongst other Blue Jays that have joined, like David Price. Although Mark Lowe had a pretty bad debut. But did he pitch today? Yeah, he pitched today, right? No, I didn't take notes on that. He pitched today. I must have missed it. I missed one inning. He probably pitched during that inning. Yeah, let me know, guys, if he did pitch. So, yeah, Tulowitzki hits a homer in the third inning, put them up 2-0 at that point, I believe. 2-0. And he's just unbelievable. His defense, he hasn't had an error. He's played unbelievable defense, and his on base is like 500 since joining the Jays. I know it's only been a week, and we shouldn't get our hopes too high for Tulo, but you know he's just been unbelievable in this ballpark right now. I can't even believe it. And I was thinking about this too a couple days ago. Was it yesterday or 2 days? It was yesterday. Bases loaded. David Price comes up. David Price has the bases loaded with nobody out. And I forget who was at the plate for the Twins yesterday, but I remember he had a shaggy fly ball into center field. The center fielder wasn't going to get it. The second baseman could have got it. I think it was Goins at the time. But Tulowitzki just comes up with this great catch, which if Reyes was still on that team, that's a hit and 1 to 2 run score on that play. And all of a sudden, David Price's debut goes from being like a magical start to being he just did okay. You know, he wasn't that great. So Troy Tulowitzki, he's the greatest. Okay, he's the greatest fielding shortstop of all time, statistically. No one seems to be talking about that right now. Nobody. And I don't understand it because I know he's the best shortstop hitter in the league by far, and that's what I would be talking about too. But he's the greatest fielding shortstop in the history of the Major League Baseball. Like, come on. And seriously, no one's talking about that. So his fielding percentage is about 99%. It's very close to it. It's 98.6% actually. So I'm just very glad we have him on the team. I might buy my Tulo jersey. I already got my hat. I got this hat before they made any of the trades. So, and I've also been watching the Jays for about a decade now, so I'm not a bandwagon person. Yeah, Tulowitzki comes up with a big homer, the third inning, and everyone loves it. Everyone starts cheering. You know, he's been like the greatest addition, I think, on this team so far, even though Price just completely shut down the Twins yesterday, but it's the Twins. They don't have the greatest offense in the world. So we'll see how he does against the Yankees, who are the second best offensive team in the league and who also lit him up for 6 runs in 5 innings last time Price faced them this year. Yeah, we'll see how he does against A-Rod, who's having an MVP-like season. Kind of. He won't win the MVP, but he's having an MVP-like season. And Mark Teixeira, who is playing like he's 28 years old again. I thought both of them were done. I thought this was going to be the Jays' time. Like, Yankees were going to suck. A-Rod can't do crap. Like, even when he was healthy the last 2 years, even the last 2 years that A-Rod played, he still sucked. Like, he hit 7 home runs and then 12 or something like that. And his average started with a 2. He wasn't that great of a player. And now he's just having this renaissance season, even though this is the Jays' time. So I don't know. No one likes A-Rod, but I'm glad that he's at least getting closer to the home run record, because I think that's a little bit exciting. But everyone hates A-Rod, including me. Yeah. So Tulowitzki makes it 2-0. The Twins kind of rally. They get a sacrifice fly off of an Estrada breaking ball that hung over the middle of the plate. And it was a sacrifice. It was to Bautista, I think, in right field. And so that makes it 2-1. The Jays score another one on who got the other RBI hit? I don't know. It'll come back to me. But nonetheless, the Jays win 3-1, and in large part, well, obviously to Donaldson, who is he's the best Jay. He's having the best. Actually, I was gonna say he's having the best like statistical batting season that the Jays have had in a while, but Bautista has actually had the craziest seasons in 2 to 3 years ago. He had like Babe Ruth like numbers, 40 or 50 home runs in 2 of those years and on base of like 400 something. So, but yeah, that's the other thing too I wanted to talk about. Bautista is kind of becoming this forgotten man in a way. Think about this. Okay. He is, in my mind, he is the most important person to ever play for the Blue Jays, because when he came to this team, he was a relative nobody, and they didn't have a single star on this team. Say what you will about Adam Lind. He's not a star, right? And they had Aaron Hill, I think, when Bautista came up. They might have had Halladay. No, maybe. It would be close, but they didn't have the star. And then all of a sudden, he had a swing change. So what Bautista did was he used to keep his hands up with his elbow right about under his chin, okay? And so he did that for about 6-7 years, and he was like, he wasn't that great of a player. Then all of a sudden, he started keeping his hands higher. So he started keeping his his elbow, his bottom elbow was about, I think it's now, you can kind of see his classic stance. Like his elbow will be like right at his nose. And he also includes a leg kick, and he turns his hips a lot faster. So he has a lot more bat speed and pulls the ball to left field, which is why he's hitting more home runs. But yeah, he's kind of like this forgotten man. All of a sudden, last year he was, everyone said that he was the best player on the team. And now Bautista, when you think about it, who's a better player right now? Okay, Donaldson's a better player. Tulowitzki's probably a better player. That's close. Even like a guy like Devin Travis, he has a higher batting average. He's not walking as much, but he's better. He's maybe just as good defensively. Devin Travis has been a revelation, and maybe David Price, if you include a pitcher into this conversation, and Osuna maybe. Osuna's been fantastic. So all of a sudden, Bautista goes from being the best player on this team to maybe the 5th, 6th best player, maybe. That's been a big difference for them in the past few games after the last 2 pickups. He's kind of this forgotten man now who is still on pace to hit over 30 home runs. So it's fantastic watching this team right now. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a lineup like this before. Maybe not since, I don't know, a decade ago. I think didn't the Twins? No, was it the Twins? I don't know. The Yankees had some good offensive teams when I was a kid, but this is ridiculous. They have their 9-hitter's a 300 hitter who led the NL in hits last year. That's their 9-hitter, Ben Revere. He led the NL in hits last year, and he's hitting 9th. Think about that. That's unbelievable. And Chris Colabello is hitting like 318, and he's like their 6th hitter, and he doesn't play every day. It's ridiculous. I love it. I love this team so much right now, and I've never been this excited to be a Blue Jays fan before. Where else do we go from here? So Josh Donaldson is could be prime minister. David Price seems like the sweetest person in the world. David Price, I hope he stays here. And so here's what we kind of heard today. I heard him on an interview today. And what he pretty much said was that money doesn't really matter too much to him, which is good for the Jays, and if they want to re-sign him. But if he, for all the Jays fans that want him to stay, where was I going with this? Sorry. For the Jays fans that want him to stay, he pretty much said that money doesn't matter too much. Term does matter, and he wants to win. So keep that in mind, everyone. If the Jays do well and make the playoffs and do well in the playoffs, and he sees that we have a core of Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Bautista's got a couple years left, 1 year left, and Encarnacion, but Devin Travis, you got the young guys like Stroman, Osuna, and Sanchez. Maybe David Price wants to stick around for a few more years and be the ace of this team and compete every year for the World Series. That's not crazy to say that anymore. I was going to say the playoffs, but guess what? They're a World Series contender if they keep going at this pace, especially, winning 6 out of every 7 games. Oof. Unbelievable. So, yep, Estrada's the best pitcher in the history of time, and so is Price. They're both the best pitchers in the history of time. Say what you will about Nolan Ryan. It's clearly Marco Estrada is the greatest pitcher in the history of the game after his performance tonight, and he will get my Cy Young. He will get my Cy Young vote. Yeah, David Price. Can't say enough about him. Kevin Durant was at the game yesterday watching David Price. I have a juicy story about that right now. So, okay. Kevin Durant was at the Blue Jay game yesterday because he went to this OVO Fest in Toronto, which is it's like a big party, I guess. It's a big party for a few days in Toronto. It might be a week. I don't really know. But so he went to the Blue Jays game, saw Price start. He said that it was the best atmosphere. Kevin Durant said it was the best atmosphere he'd been in for a game. He was taking videos. He bought a Price jersey, and get this. Okay, so there was a friend. I'll just say a friend, who is known for telling the truth. He doesn't lie. He's not exaggerating. But he went to this OVO Fest, and he had a VIP pass or something, and he said that he talked to Kevin Durant. Who was also hanging out with DeMar DeRozan. And Kevin Durant said, I would like to play for the Toronto Raptors. Now, take what you will from that, but theoretically, next year, Kevin Durant may be wearing a Raptors uniform a year from today. And all of a sudden, if David Price comes back, we have a Toronto Raptors team with 2 All-Stars, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Valanciunas might step up. We have maybe Kevin Durant. Let me say that again. Kevin Durant, if he comes back to this team, if he doesn't come back to this team, if he does still want to play for Toronto, like he said today, and there's also video confirmation of it. I should say that. It's very bad quality, but there's video confirmation of it. And it was his favorite team as a kid. He loved Vince Carter. So take what you will from that too. But imagine Kevin Durant in the Raptors uniform. All of a sudden, you got that, even though he's more of a small forward, all of a sudden he can play the 4. He can be your power forward. All of a sudden, your lineup looks like Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, DeMarre Carroll, Kevin Durant, and Jonas Valanciunas. And you can't tell me that's not good enough to at least make an appearance in conference finals or maybe compete for a title. Because all of a sudden, everyone gets bumped down a bit. Now, all of a sudden, your top scorers like Lowry and DeRozan, you don't have to rely on them because your number one's Kevin Durant, who's the best scorer in this league. That got me thinking today. I wish that my friend didn't make that comment. Now my hopes are too high, just like they were for Aldridge. But I didn't have any inside information on Aldridge. I was just hopeful because he's my favorite player. But yeah, imagine that. Imagine having a very good Raptors team, a very good Blue Jays team, a Toronto Maple Leafs team that, I don't know. To be honest, most of the people that I've talked to think the Leafs are going to suck next year. I think that they're going to do well next year because when everyone thinks that they're going to suck, that's when they actually do okay. And when everyone's very optimistic, that's when they do bad. And people are usually optimistic and have been for the past decade, and they made the playoffs once in a year where everyone picked them to be a bottom 3 team. So take what you will from that. I think that the Leafs are going to be good next year. I think that the Raptors will be okay next year. They won't be as good. They're not going to win the division, I don't think. It'll be tough. And I think that the Blue Jays will be in at least one playoff game this year because they hold down the wild card right now. Yeah, as of this very second, we'll see what happens in the next few hours when Baltimore plays. But as of this very second, the Blue Jays own the second wild card. And it is August 4th. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, folks. It's pretty unbelievable. And it's pretty sad, too, that I'm getting this excited about a Blue Jays team that's 4 games over 500 now, I think. I don't even know. But they play tomorrow against the Minnesota Twins, and they could really just bury the Twins if they can get a sweep here. I'm calling a sweep. I called this today, okay? I called this morning. I was just like, you know what? I'm looking at the pitching matchups. Phil Hughes, if the Twins were going to win a game, it would probably have been that Irvin Santana game versus David Price game. Hear me out. It's because David Price might have had some nerves, which he did. He said he had nerves. So maybe they could have got to him, and Irvin Santana's been pitching well. He's kind of their ace right now. And Phil Hughes always gets lit up by the Jays every single time they play him. They just light him up. Now, they didn't light him up today, but still got 3 runs off him, and 2 were dingers. So all of a sudden, now the Jays are facing the Twins 3 and 4 pitchers, and they've won the 2 games where they haven't scored a ton of runs. You kind of figure, you know what? If they're going to win a game, then this is going to be the game. If they're going to win the games, if they're going to win a game, it's going to be the next 2. They might take 3 of 4. Wait, it's a 4-game series, right? I think it's a 4-game series. So they play the Twins tomorrow, 7:00 start. I don't know if I'll be watching that. I might be working, but I'll at least partially watch that so I can continue to do these kind of podcasts and live streams that I got going now. And they're going to sweep, and they're going to win the World Series. And no, they're not. They're going to sweep. They're going to win the World Series, and they're not going to lose a game the rest of the year. Imagine that. No, this is the Toronto sports fan. You know, they're going to win the next 60 games. They're going to win the next 60 games. They're not going to lose anymore. Like, think about it. You got Hutchinson. You know, he's going to win. He's going to win the rest of his games because his ERA is 5, and the Jays score 5.5 runs a game. So they're going to clearly win all the Drew Hutchinson starts, and then none of the pitchers are going to have bad games. And the Jays are going to keep scoring 6 runs a game or 5.5 runs a game, and they're never going to lose for the rest of the year. But I will say one thing. Alex Anthopoulos owns the city right now. He can do whatever he wants right now. If he were to, he's like Josh Donaldson right now. He could he could come out and say he hates babies. He could say that puppies are the worst things in this world, and everyone's still going to love him. So good job, Anthopoulos. You completely stole David Price from the Yankees. Even though he was pitching for the Tigers, the Yankees really wanted him. You completely stole him from the Yankees. You stole Tulowitzki from the Rockies and you gave up all these trades, and you gave up one roster player, and that's Reyes, and that's a guy who had 13 errors at shortstop and who underthrew everything. And if it wasn't for Encarnacion and Smoke, he'd probably have 20 errors. This is an exciting time to be a Blue Jays fan specifically, and it'll be exciting next year to be a Raptors fan. And Maple Leafs, I think that they're going to do well this year. I know everyone's hating on them, especially the experts. But with Babcock and Lamoriello, Shanahan's, say what you will about him. Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Kadri. I like Kadri. They could be a good team next year. So say what you will. And I'm not forgetting about TFC out there. TFC, they've been doing okay, even though they've been sucking the past few games. Jovinko has been amazing. He's been like an MVP candidate this year. He might actually, no, he's not the candidate. He is the MVP of this year. Sebastian Jovinko. I remember going to watch one of the first TFC games. I think it was the home opener. He was just unbelievable. Little guy. Him and Josie Altidore. Or I say Jose, but I think it's Josie, right? Yeah, complete opposites. Altidore is just like this guy who could play in the NFL, and then Jovinko's like this little guy who should be like a jockey. he should be like the jockey for American Pharaoh or whatever the guy's name is. The horse's name is. Is that still a horse? Does American Pharaoh still run? I don't even know. Anyways, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. I didn't get to the messages. Oh, damn it. Okay, that's okay. We'll do that next time. But thank you all for watching. This is the first edition of Blue Jays Talk with your host, Jack Chappell. And thank you guys very much for watching and listening. And I'll see you next time.